All right, y'all. I just wrapped up a 95% accurate London game. Check this thing out. Uh, yeah, 94.7. I'm rounding up. Okay, I'm rounding up. My opponent played 89% accurate, made one mistake, and I took advantage of it. This is a kind of a classic, stereotypical London game. Not like a ton of action, but pretty easy to play. And I'm able to just like bleed my opponent down and take advantage. I mean, look at this. I had one inaccuracy in 27 moves. Just a rock solid game. So if you want to see how to play the London, this is a pretty good example, I think. 1300 rated. I'm not a GM by any standard, but this game was rated at 2000 rated though. That maybe one of my most highly rated games of all time. So this is a London. I'm bringing my bishop out early. When I see the bishop come out, I push this pawn, try to take a little control in the center. He reinforces, and then I'm bringing my queen. I'm attacking this pawn, trying to put pressure on early, trying to force my opponent to make some mistakes, and just create some pressure. He pushes this pawn just to protect the pawn because I was attacking it. I'm going to trade pawns here really with the idea that I want to bring this bishop out. I figure there's a pretty good chance he's going to push this pawn. It just feels like it weakens the structure. So I'm happy to make him do that. It is the best move given the conditions, and I just drop my bishop back. So really the entire purpose of this was to try to bait this pawn out to here and hopefully weaken the structure. That's my plan. I'm just making small little stabs at his position, trying to take advantage. We trade the bishops off. I'm happy to do that. Queen comes out. I'm just getting developed, getting my knight out, castled. Okay, so now I'm seeing, this is kind of the first threat that I'm seeing. If he dives in here with his knight, so if this knight isn't here, and he dives in here with his knight, this is a major mate threat, and I don't like that very much, so I bring my other knight in to protect. Was sort of my plan here. It's not, the computer's not saying it's the best move. I guess it wants me to try to trade off the queens, but now if he ever takes this, I can reinforce this knight, because I need this knight to protect this pawn, because the queen and the knight can team up here for some weird checkmate moves. So that's my thought process there. He does bring the knight in. I just kick it out immediately, and it doesn't matter. My knight has this protected, so I'm not worried about this mate threat. I'm just going to kick that knight out. It's sort of a waste of a turn, honestly. I take the bishop. He takes. I bring my rook over to the open file. I guess the other rook would have been better. Not sure why. He protects his knight with the rook and takes the open file himself. I attack this knight. I'm sort of planning on taking this eventually. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to try and isolate a pawn probably. Yeah, I do take this. And then, so I'm just thinking this pawn will be a target eventually. It's pretty well protected. And if this pawn ever wants to jump into the middle, it's going to be better protected. But it's just a pawn floating out in the middle. It looks like a good thing, so I immediately attack it. It is still protected, so it's fine. But, okay, then this pawn tension is where things start to get kind of interesting. So I'm not going to take that pawn. I'm going to attack the queen instead. So now he can't take this. I don't want to isolate my pawn at all. It's definitely something I'm worried about. I don't want that to happen. But if I attack the queen, I win a tempo, and it might give me some time to rearrange my pieces and try to make some things happen here. So he has to move his queen out of the way. Then I can take the open file, which is beautiful, because now if he takes here, I can just jump up here with my rook, and I'm thinking I have some control over that file. It's exactly what happens. The knight comes in and attacks my queen. But I can just drop back and put a little more pressure on this pawn. I'm thinking maybe reroute the knight and try and put even more pressure on it. It is protected by this knight, which is a little annoying. He jumps his knight into the position, and here's my one inaccuracy for the entire game. It's this rook move, and I guess the computer just wants me to jump my knight in here, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. This is the line that they show. I'll just show you this line quick. So we trade rooks and trade knights, and that's what the computer wanted me to do. I don't really know what that's all about, but we'll keep it rolling with what actually happened in the game. So yeah, I guess this was an inaccuracy because I can't actually take the knight because the pawn's protecting it, but whatever. He moves his rook over to try to trade off the rooks. I'm happy to trade off the rooks, and now I'm attacking this pawn again. I'm trying to figure out how to get this knight out of here, and then he finally makes this blunder, and this is pretty much game over because I can take this. This pawn is now hanging. He's thinking probably that he's got some nasty threats here, but if I jump my knight to here, I'm just winning this pawn and attacking his queen, and there's just not a whole lot he can do after this. He moves his queen out of the way, and then I find this very nice move here, just taking the knight. If he takes my knight, this is checkmate. If he takes my rook, I take the rook back, and I'm protecting the knight. So I just want a piece, and he resigns. And that's how I won the game. I just took it. I just really just sat, tried to make small adjustments to my position. The London gives you a really solid position, so you just have to play the position. Thought this was a really good example of why the London is such a good beginner opening, because it's not super complicated. You can kind of see everything coming. Your pieces all coordinate really well together, and all you have to do is play the position correctly. Which is, I mean, I'm making it sound easier than it is, but it's not that complicated, as you might have seen from what just happened. So thanks for watching, and catch you later.